So I'm hearing, don't get caught up in what you see. Don't get caught up in what you see. Hey, so family, welcome to my channel. Excuse me. I am Mystic Alchemy. All right, let's see what Spirit has for you. Let's see what this is about. Don't get caught up in what you see. Spirit, what do you want them to know about this? Don't get caught up in what you see. I just heard most of what you see is an illusion. It's not real. Okay. Most of what you see is not real. But they want you to believe it's real. Okay, let's see. Transform from that mindset, because just due to the circumstances of our environment, we're subject to this. Okay, we're not to the transformation, because that's what Spirit wants you to do, is transform. But we're subject to believing what we see, you know, believing everything we hear. And I also heard, don't believe everything you see on the internet. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. All right, let me see. So I have the Death card, the Queen of Wands in reverse, the Ten of Wands in reverse, the Judgment in reverse, and the Chariot. That just tells me that it almost feels a little like social media, like what you hear on social media. You know how people tend to reveal their best self online, and I feel like Spirit is saying many people start to compare themselves to the lives of other people. But the thing is that the other people that you are seeing aren't being honest about their life. Like, they're not, I heard it's not the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They only give you bits and pieces. And I mean, I'm not saying that people are obligated to show every part of them online, but it's just that people tend to show the dolled up part. People tend to show the inauthentic aspect of themselves. Not everybody, but because of the condition of the environment, like I said before, it's almost like, what else am I supposed to show? Like, because I'm not going to show what hurt me. I'm not going to show, you know, like everything that I went through and what I healed from. Like, people don't want to show what hurt. They only want to show what makes them happy. But it's like the Spirit is saying, people need to see what hurt. People need to see what hurt you. People need to see what hurt you. Not like in a negative way, but it's kind of like inspirational. Okay, it's an inspirational way. So when you, something like when you put your attention, at times when you do listen to other people's situation, they're saying put your attention on the solution to their problem, because you can find a solution in someone else's problem for your own life. Okay, don't believe everything you see, because it's an illusion. You know, many people may feel down when they see all of these different groups of people flaunting what they have online, like their expensive clothes, their money. You know, people love this. You know, you see this all the time. Look, the rappers, they just want you to see the cash, right? But it's like they're kind of mocking in a way, because they know that majority of people that listen to them don't have money like that. So it's like, look what I got and you don't. You know, some people could actually, you know, be thinking that way when they're doing that, like to show what they have. Meanwhile, the people that are looking, you end up looking up to these type of people because it's like, wow, they have all of that money and they're looking like they're having so much fun. And every time you see them, you're seeing that they're having so much fun and they're making so much money. You know, but that's an illusion. The money very well could be there, but is their happiness there is the question though. Are they happy? Or are they using all that money to get high as a kite to the point where their brain is not working properly? You see? So it's like Spirit is saying a lot of times in the state of our environment, we may, because everybody doesn't feel like this, but we may get triggered by seeing what other people have and like, wow, when am I going to be able to get that? Like, that's a lot. Like, can I experience that? Like, you know, and there may be feelings of resentment, and you may even start to get depressed. You may even start to feel down because you're seeing so many other people living their life what looks like to the fullest. But again, they're not showing you how that money has changed your life in a negative way, I'm hearing. Because, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to focus on negativity. I'm talking about the realness of the situation. Because if you see something, like, okay, say like a certain type of musician that what the lyrics are about are not always uplifting, right? But they're making so much money and they look nice every time you see them on the screen. So it's like, I'm getting this energy of many of you, even your kids, thinking I should do that because I should talk bad like that and be horrible because I can do what they're doing. I could get that money. I can get the girls, the cars, the glam. I could get that and I want that. So I should start like putting myself in that direction and putting my mindset in that direction and putting on that persona, because it's like telling the viewer that if I behave that way and if I conduct myself and talk about those same things, that I can have that too. I heard mental manipulation. This is what Spirit is talking about right now. Sometimes I think that we don't even really recognize how much we're influenced. We are influenced so much, like, by all of these things around us. It's like unreal how much our own mind can change in as a reaction to an external force that we see or hear. But the sad thing about that is that just because we see it and we hear it, it doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's real. It doesn't mean that it's right. And that's another thing that could be very confusing for many people. That's confusing. Because you look at something and you create your own understanding of what that means that you just saw. And based off of very little information, you already create an understanding that you believe. Then your belief system, it gets skewed based off of a lie. Then you start to feel down and you feel like when are you going to get your portion? Like, when are you going to be blessed in such a way? And then some people start to equate money to blessings, like in all. In all honesty, if you don't know how to handle your money, it could destroy a person. It could destroy a group of people. It could destroy an entire family. For some reason, I just picked up an energy of someone leaving an inheritance, and then there's certain people that didn't get any, or it was taken away. Like, say for instance, there was 4 siblings, or 5 siblings, whatever, just siblings, brothers and sisters. And everybody was in the will, but certain brothers and sisters took from certain brothers and sisters and made them believe that they didn't have anything. That is a side message, but that is an illusion. And you kind of believed it because of something about your upbringing. You believed it and you thought that your parents or grandparents or whoever left money, whichever family member that was, you were something about you being in disbelief that you didn't get an inheritance. Deep down inside, you think it's not right because it doesn't seem right because of the relationship, the context of the relationship. You don't believe it. And you're right. Okay. Then I'm hearing if you can contact a lawyer, if you could just contact the lawyer, just contact the lawyer. I keep hearing that, contact the lawyer. So that's a side note, but that's important here because you felt like left out a lot, like the black sheep of the family. Yeah, this is changing now because first we were talking about the image of, what we see, with who we may look up to online or celebrities or whatever, or musicians, but you don't know the whole story. Just recognize when you look at a person, you don't know their whole story. You only know of what you see, okay? Because it's easy to look at the most wonderful image that you could ever see of a person, and they have everything that you would like to have. And then you start feeling down like, I don't have that. Like, damn, what am I doing myself? I'm just like a loser. I'm a low life. Like, you can start thinking like that about yourself based on a quick image. And that's how powerful we are as people. We can perceive things wrong, not even realizing it's wrong because we're not taking into consideration all the facts. We only take a little piece of something and hold on to it and believe that whatever we perceive from that is true, and then that comparing starts to come in and then you feel like less than. Never do that to yourself because you have no idea what people go through and what they've done and what happened and how they got there, because how they got there could be worse than you could ever know. Sometimes people allow the desire for money to have them out here doing anything for some green paper, anything. And I'm sure that you don't want to do just anything for money, okay? I would hope you don't. But once you start behaving in that way and you put your mindset in that way where I'll just do, it's for money, I'll just do it, you start hurting people. You start really affecting your environment in a negative way. And it's just not what you want. And then it's like, at that point, if you end up, your soul will be broken. If you end up, like say for instance, you were to act on that thought that I was thinking about earlier, like they're talking crazy and degrading people and talking about all these things that will hurt people in these lyrics, right? Now, you or your child or your family member thinks like, oh, I should do that too. Regardless of if that's not really where my heart is. I really don't want to hurt people. I really don't want to like talk bad about people. But if that can get me that money, then I'm going to do it. Once you start thinking about that, you start doing things that your soul does not desire for you to do. And you end up truly being unhappy with yourself. You end up being unhappy with yourself because you're not being true to yourself and you're trying to be a certain, like put on a certain image for the money. And I'm not saying this to target anybody. Like this is real. Like this is really going on in the world right now. Hold on to what you love because the money doesn't mean anything if you're unhappy. What is that money to you? What is it to you? If you're unhappy, it's nothing. It's just like paper. You could buy all the beautiful cars. You can purchase all the expensive shoes and bags. But if your heart feels like icky because of what you did to get that money, you won't really be able to be satisfied with it. You won't really be able to enjoy it because everything that you end up acquiring from that money that you received is going to remind you of what you did to do it, to get it. It's going to remind you of what you did to get it. You're going to feel broken inside if you go that route. And this could equate to anything. Like if you're doing something just to get to a place, or if you ever thought about it, Spirit doesn't want you to do that, because you already have all of the treasure inside of you. If you don't know what it is, you just have to find it. Okay? Because if you notice, if you just think about it, the people who are in the public eye, especially celebrities, a lot of them have a lot of addictions and stuff like that, because you know, a lot of substances are in our environments all over the world. So when you get a lump sum of money on a regular basis, and you're someone who enjoys floating all the time, the first thing that you're going to think about is that addiction and feeding it. And then you continue and you continue. You're still making the money, but you continue. You start to become a shell of a person, because you can't even enjoy what you have and be coherent. Like you just become a shell of yourself, because the version of you that is always on cloud nine, not in a good way, but from the substance, that's not real. And it is it's like everything becomes an illusion. Because if this is where all that money got you, how has the money helped you? How has the image helped you? Or the people that actually live that life and actually have gone through becoming famous, getting the money, and then being out of their mind from the addictions. And then some of them even removing themselves from this place, some intentionally and some unintentionally. That is heartbreaking to think about, because we work so hard. We work so hard for money so that we can survive and take care of ours and hold it down, like, you know, hold your home down, hold your family down. We put so much work in, right? But then you have some people that get it easy. Like it's easy, comes easy. And then look what they do with it. Spirit says, don't be that person. Don't be that person, because you can be better than that. You can use them. I said them. You could use them. I don't know what accent that was. You could use them as an example of what not to do. Okay? Because that's not really what you want. As much as people try to act like, or maybe some people really do want to, let me not say that, because hey, people are people and everybody's different. But for those who know what I'm talking about, you don't really want that. You want to actually live happy and enjoy what you've created from making your money in a legit way, and not just looking at someone's Instagram reel and just thinking that that's their whole life. Like, don't get tricked by the image. It's an illusion, because you don't see everything. So don't get caught up comparing yourself, because that's not even real. Like, it's not real. It's an illusion. And don't get caught up in that illusion. Don't believe everything you see. Okay, Spirit is truly saying that, because they're like, I heard there's love and authenticity and hard work. And you don't want to, I heard, know what it's like to work hard, but then learn what it's like to work smart. Know what it's like to work hard and learn what it's like to work smart, okay? So that gives you character, because you will know what it means to work hard for money. So when you get it, you're going to appreciate it. It's not going to be squandered. You're not going to mistreat the blessing that has been given to you, because you're going to know how to handle it. And this is what's important to you. This is a part of also, this is a part of shadow work too, like the dark night of the soul. When you go through that you learn a lot. It hurts and it's tough, it's rough and stuff. But I get rough and stuff with my Afro puff. Okay, it is rough and stuff, okay? But that's a part of life. That's a part of why we're here. We're here to learn. Like, don't shy away from it. Prove your strength to yourself and to the Most High that you could do it, because this is a part of all of our tests. It's not just you that goes through all these crazy things in life. No, we all do. It's just in different ways. And just because someone is in a certain tax bracket does not mean that they don't have problems, because they do. Okay? It's easy to look at somebody with so much wealth and think that they are happy. That doesn't mean that. That does not go together. It only goes together if that person makes it go together. If they actually put that work in to make sure that that's the life that they're living, you know, and you want to make sure that that money is not attached to something that came from a place of, what's the word? I heard degradation. When you get your money in an upstanding way, it makes your ability to use it easier and is more fluid, because you don't feel bad from where it came from. Because if you get your money in a way that's not honest, it's always connected to what is always going to remind you of what you did to get it. And then that could mess with your subconscious mind, because it will always remind you of what you did to get it. And if you did something bad to get it, that's not good for your spirit and your soul, your mind and your body. It's not good for you as a whole. It's just not good for you. So if somebody was thinking about doing something under the table, a funny style, something, I heard something strange for a piece of change. Really think about that, and think about if that's something that you want to be imprinted on your subconscious mind, because it could affect you in a way of, I heard forever, in a way of forever. It can affect your future in a way that it will be very difficult for you to unravel, because it was a choice that you made where you knew you didn't have to make it, but you did. Okay? Do what you love, stick to what you love, and you will be rewarded for being authentically you. Don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get caught up in the hype. I heard. Because many people that you see, their house is falling. And there is no love. That's sad. Money's not going to love you. I mean, you know, not unless you have, you build a good relationship with money. But money can't love you. And money can have you doing crazy things that you never did before. And then crazy things for love, I heard. But then it's not really love, it's just attention. And then you could get stuck in this cycle of being with a whole bunch of different energies, giving so much of yourself, trying to build like a human connection, but there's no love there. And then it's like a revolving door of trying to have some type of human connection, but it's really not a connection. It's just like a meet and greet, and then it's done and done. So it's like, what is really the point of that? There's no point in that, and it's empty. I just heard somebody could be the biggest hoe in the world and still want love, and then be unsure of how to obtain it, because they're stuck in that cycle. That cycle of, it's like torn, like being torn. Like, I heard the player gets tired too. The player gets tired too. And maybe that's not for all people, but what Spirit is talking about is someone who has, this could be someone that you were dealing with, or it could have been you one time before, where you enjoy being with a bunch of different people, but then it's tiring after a while, and it's like, nah, I want something real because I'm tired of all these different people. I'm tired of just like the get it and quit it. I'm tired of that. I want something real, something that's stable. That's what I'm getting from this too. So as long as you don't get caught up in the illusion, you'll be fine. Don't get caught up. If you catch yourself looking at someone else's life and then you're like, I want that. I want all that money. What are they doing? Let me study them. Even if they're doing something horrible, saying things horrible and contaminating the earth, I should do that too because it's going to get me money and money's going to make me happy. Money does not equate to happiness. So be very careful with your perception when it comes to what you see and what you believe after you've seen what you saw. After you've seen what you saw. After you've seen what you've seen. After you analyze what you've seen. I guess that's better. After you analyze what you've seen and whatever you take from it, make sure you take into consideration that that is not all in all. There's more that you don't see. So don't start comparing yourself to the life of some celebrity or wealthy person that seems like they have it all. Because when they get home, their kids could be cursing them out, and there's so many things that could be happening to them. Their husband can be cheating on them. They could be emotionally scarred from verbal abuse, but they're not showing that part. You see, celebrities have so much influence, right? But they don't really be using it. And it might be in a contract that they're not supposed to, but that's a whole nother story. But I mean, some people probably do talk about their story, which I commend them, because when you do that, you help people, right? But a lot of them don't. A lot of them just, not unless it's something that's like a public case and then they can't really get away from it. But that don't mean that they really talk about it much. They kind of like don't want to talk about that. They want to focus on what looks nice and shiny, right? So this is the message from Spirit, not to get caught up in what you see because it's an illusion, and just focus on what's important to you and how you want your life to be so that you could be happy with what you have and what is given to you, like the blessing that is given to you. Don't compare yourself and think that you don't have enough, because this is what you truly have. You have intuition, you have spiritual abundance, you have happiness, and you have love. But you just have to look at what you have and don't focus on what somebody else has, because it could skew your perception and make you believe something that's not, based off of a lie, because you don't have the whole truth and nothing but the truth from the image that you see. It's just one flick, one little drop of somebody's life, but you don't see anything else that actually can help you. You only see things that make you feel bad about yourself. That's why it's so important not to be stuck and hold on to like a quick little flick of somebody's life, because it's not everything. Okay? And everybody's not going to tell you about what hurt them and how to heal from it. Everybody's not going to tell you that because they don't want you to see that. A lot of people, they are unhealed and they don't want to talk about that because they have trouble. Shadow work is not easy. That's not for the faint at heart. It's not easy. But when you do it, you become a whole new person. So that's why it's so important for us to accept our circumstances and look at them and recognize that we are survivors and hold on to that, and not put into our minds that the people that look like they're having such an amazing life are like completely perfect and nothing happened to them. That's not true. So don't tell yourself that, because realize what you do know and what you don't know about a person and their situation. Like, that's important for you to realize what you do know and what you don't know. When you realize you don't have all the facts, you take a step back and you recognize, I don't even have enough information to come up with an observation, a real observation, because you don't have all the information. So you can't call something a thing if you don't even know about the entire thing. The entire situation of a person has to be analyzed in order to make a sound judgment and be able to perceive correctly. Okay, so that's what Spirit wants you to know. It was very important for them to get that out. So yeah, I hope this message does help you in some way. And always remember that God is in you and the magic is too, because you're magic. Much love to you. Bye, honey roses.